You guys have one life. You have one opportunity to take action. You have one opportunity to go ask that girl out. You guys have one opportunity to go and build yourself in the gym, to go and eat properly for your future. You have to take action. I mean, there's nothing less than that. You could be the most genetically gifted human being possible. And if you don't tone yourself in the gym, you're not going to win any Olympias. It's that simple. God gives you so much, and then the rest you have to take for yourself. I mean, so many gifted people, so many people that have unbelievable talent, but yet they lose to people who outwork them. Andrew Tate, he said, the man who goes to the gym every day, no matter how he feels, will always beat the man who goes to the gym when he feels like going to the gym. And that's kind of the same thing with action. I mean, the man who takes action, even if he doesn't want to, will beat the man that's talented and better than him in the time if the man doesn't take action. Action, I mean, it's the most important thing. You can go and have a whole game plan. You can have every single trick, every single piece of information you need for a subject. But if you don't execute, you don't take action on that subject, it doesn't matter if you have everything. People, I mean, a common thing people do is they sit there and study stuff. I mean, I'm not saying studying's bad, but they're studying it without having any prior action, any prior experience. They haven't learned anything, and they haven't needed to tone their skills. A man who sits there and watches working out YouTube videos, sits there and watches people do curls and watches people do press-ups, but then he doesn't end up going to the gym, when in reality he should have went to the gym, messed around, fucked up a lot, looked like an idiot. I mean, it happens when you start off with something. You're not going to look like someone who's spent a lot of time, someone who's put their time and effort into something. There will always be a learning curve, unless you are, I mean, just so gifted that it doesn't matter and you just go and you're good at everything. But there will still be a learning curve, and that's why it's important to fail. And for the beginners, it's important to try it out, to learn from their mistakes. I mean, that's why life throws so many mistakes at you. That's why you fail so many times, so that you can learn from it. I mean, some of my biggest fails are the reason why I'm wiser than I was. I mean, you will never learn if you never achieve anything and if you never fail at anything. I think achievements are a worse learning experience than failing, because when someone fails, they know what not to do. So when someone achieves, they don't really take anything from it. They don't care. They reach their goal. They don't want to do anything more. But if you fail, the next time around, you're gonna achieve that goal 10 times more than you would have if you would have hit it the first time. And that's something that people don't understand. They think, oh, if I don't hit it this time, what's the point of trying again? They give up. They sit there, they give up, they cry, they go jerk off. Not you and me, though. No. Because we're ambitious. We're the type of people who fail 100 times over, and on that 101st time, we win. Because you can't lose if you don't give up. Sure, you can fuck up 25 times, 20,000 times you can fuck up. But you will continue to learn. Knowledge is, I mean, it's something that as a child we don't come with. I mean, it's something that, depending on the person, depending on their family, depending on their social status, varies how much knowledge they'll end up with. Of course, there's people who they force their children to read. I mean, for example, they force their children, hey, if you don't read this book, you're not going to be able to go hang out with your friends. And in turn, that child grows a hatred for learning. They grow a hatred for knowledge. They end up being stuck in a 9-to-5 job where they don't have to learn anything more. They've learned it all. So they sit there and they go back home to their wife that they don't really love, that doesn't really love them back. They go to their ungrateful children and they play video games. They tone themselves out of life with alcohol and drugs. Then they call it a wrap. I mean, it's so common nowadays, and it wasn't like that 40 years ago. Because people still had ambition. People still took action because they weren't being shoved information that made them scared, made them not want to take action, made them just so toned out. It's like, it's the information that they've been given just turns them into bots. And it's crazy to me because, I mean, Sneeko says it the best. He's just bots. I mean, they've been perception managed so strictly by their parents, by their school, by the government, that they can't even think past surface level. I mean, you've most likely seen the whole controversial interviews about Andrew Tate. I mean, there's something that make me laugh. The interviewee they're bots. The interviewer asks them, "Hey, what do you think of Andrew Tate?" "He's misogynistic." I mean, all right, well, can you give me an example? No. They don't have an example because they can't think past surface level. They're so perception managed and so strictly trained by what they've heard from their friends and what they've heard from their teachers, their government, that there's only one point of view and one sort of idea they think that there can be. There's no creativity anymore. I mean, it's stripped away from children. You go, for example, a kid goes to art class. I mean, art, it's a form of creativity. Let the child think and do what they want, but then the teacher goes, "You have to draw me a picture of a tree." They give them an example. The tree doesn't look like the tree that I just showed you, then you're not going to get a good grade. If they go home with a bad grade, then their parents upset. Then the kid gets in trouble. Then the kid gets put in a bigger box by their parents. No, you can't go hang out with your friends. No, you can't go experience life because you got a bad grade because you drew apples on the tree. You drew a swing on the tree with a little girl. The teacher didn't like that you were creative. She strips it away from you. Next time when she tells you to draw, I don't know, an apple, you just draw the apple. You thought about drawing a worm in there. You thought about it. You thought about having a worm. You thought about doing all this stuff, building the tree, putting the apple there, having a perfect thing. You could be an artist, and your teacher stripped it away from you because you just drew the apple that she asked because you didn't want the consequences of being creative. It happens so often, and it's limiting people from taking action. It's genuinely making men and women both just absolute babies. I mean, it's just keeping them at surface level. It's keeping them in such a stagnant zone that there's no room to grow. There's no room that they have ambition to grow. They do nothing. They sit there, they work their 9 to 5, they come home, play video games, smoke weed, drink alcohol, go fuck around, do whatever. And that's their life. I mean, it's sad. And I know there's some of you watching right now, and that you think it's okay. You think, "Oh yeah, you know what? That sounds like a fine life. Go home and play video games after I work my job. I just want to have a casual life." Why? You were brought onto this earth one time. You have one opportunity that you know of, and you just waste it. It's so sad.